Oh. Ugh. What? Not what? I don't know. I couldn't think of anything else to do. Plus, I can do this while playing RuneScape. Alright. I haven't played this since it launched. I have no idea what's changed. Call the islands. I haven't played it since it launched either. It's still really popular. The game's been popping off for the longest time. Like, I checked Steam charts. Yeah, consistently above 40k. It's currently at 60k. Right to go. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna make that mistake again. I have to call the world. Digby lands. I'll leave the typo in. I don't care. Digby lands. Normal's fine. Okay. So just clear my notifications. Make sure I'm still getting aggro on RuneScape so I can AFK farm. Alright, let's do it. What the fuck is under my keyboard? Oh, I'm assuming the audio is fine. Why are you playing this? Oh, I just can't think of anything else to play. And like, this is something I can play while, why does, while I can play RuneScape at the same time. Why does everyone just... Is this really what the character creation was like? Whatever, man. Also fucking up again, dropping focus from chat and scrolling the win. Oh, I fucking hate that shit. Wow, that's very menacing. How do I skip this? Hold space. So, I've heard a few things have changed. Skirting your own character? Yeah, I'm diabolical. Straight into, yeah. What is this? Unlock fast travel. You didn't make a cursed character? I don't think there's much you can do. There didn't seem to be many options. How do I... Demands a do-over. But I've already collected wood! How do I, like, play... Achieve so much? Yeah. It was physique sliders? Oh, really? Because I only saw, like, 3 sliders, and I just kind of went, well, there's nothing there. Oh, I have to, like, hold to click... What is this? So I can't spam attack? I have to, like... Is this not... Oh. Can I punch this? I don't think I'm gonna get anywhere with this. Oh, wait, I got one. So, you have to come out. I know it's a difficult concept for some. What do you mean? Also, I have skill points, apparently? Oh. It gave me all the skill points I needed for this. Okay. Boost any stat. Oh no, hang on, that's not the stat point. Wait, where's stat point? Jesus Christ. Oh. Enhanced stats. Whatever. Terraria doing collab? They are, yeah, both of them are getting like a piece of each other. I think Terraria's already got its collab sort of on the way. I don't know what the collab for... I don't know what these guys are doing for Terraria though. What am I doing, man? I need to make like an axe. How do you craft technology? Stone? The fuck is this? Jesus Christ, just drop. Terraria bosses as pals or something? Like the wall of flesh? Maybe just bosses to fight. Oh yeah, I mean that would make more sense. Would have been cool if you could have fought the wall, or captured the wall of flesh. So how do I craft this? How do I make a thing? Guild? I guess I make a workbench first. I want to do it here. Maybe I'll go a bit further down. Although then again, I might aggro some stuff. Oh, there's some shit here I could get. Hang on, fuck it. Yeah, let's put it here. Hold to build. Like the Eye and the Moon Lord. I remember the Eye. I don't remember the Moon Lord. I think I only ever got like Terraria 1.1 complete. Like I didn't really get back into the game properly after that, I want to say. Like I'm really behind on Terraria stuff, so let's get an axe. What's that little jig my character does? Where's my hotbar? I'm confused. What is this? Is this one of those torrent things? Wow. Okay, yep. That's, can I drop on it? Okay. Been years since I played it. Yeah, like, literally the last time I played it was, like, when I completed it, which was 1.1, and I'm pretty sure the game's on, like, 1.5 or 1.6 now. Fucking loads of big updates since. Is there like a limit to how much I can carry? Oh, I do have a weight, okay. Did multiplayer with a couple of assholes that were speedrunning. Yeah, that shit annoys me. They're done and they release a big patch. Yeah, it's just like Stardew Valley, to be honest. They do the same shit. Can't complain though, it's fucking great. Oh, that doesn't count. Okay. I need stone. I should have made a pickaxe. I think this guy would die to an axe. So you went to be copper and woke up the next day full on endgame. Yeah. Honestly fucking hate that shit as well, to be honest. Like, if you're playing with a large group of players, try and, like, I get that some people just want to rush, but, like, you can rush by gathering a lot of early materials. You don't have to rush to just fucking speedrun to the end game. It kind of sucks doing that kind of shit. I hate that stuff. Chickpea. Oh, hang on. I should probably make a weapon before I do this, before I attack them with an axe. How much stone do I have? Who wants to no life it when you're not around? Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think it's unreasonable to not be on the game, like, every day or every hour. Like, I think if you're not on for, like, multiple days, say, like, fucking 3 or 4 days in a row. I can understand people maybe progressing a bit, but like, we're all adults, man. Like, come on. Jesus Christ. Calm down. Like, one thing I tend to do whenever it's been a while since I was the one who had more time than everyone else, but whatever I usually did back then was I would streamline some things, you know? I would create, like, I would clean things up, basically. Tidy up the areas, you know, organize things, find, you know, get a mass supply of early game materials. Just, like, simple shit, you know? Like, still fun stuff, you know? I would, like, strip mine like, for example, with Minecraft, I would just strip mine all day. Like, nobody's online, might as well do some strip mining, and I'd be fucking strip mining forever. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Didn't need to fucking go rushing ahead of people all the time. Probably want to grab this stuff. Yeah. Use that. Yeah, that's fine. How much ore is in this thing? Holy shit. Okay, maybe that's enough. Technology. Bow and arrow might not be a bad idea. Pal bed. Shoddy bed. Plenty of time off, but it's decent sized basic tier basing for tech as we go. Yeah, exactly. Gotta cover those soulless doll eyes. It's creepy as hell, isn't it? Also, why does it look like it's lagging? I'm on 60. It says 60 FPS, but it looks like it's fucking lagging. Alright, let's go and... Oh, I need to make a Pokeball. How do I make Pokeballs? Stone. Does this count? Oh. I guess it's this stuff here. Jesus Christ. I should kill something, shouldn't I? I'm gonna kill something. Get over here. Motherfucker. I thought it would fight back a little bit. Lord. Is he like dead? Why is his body still here? Oh well. It just would be. Oh, I'm heavy. Can I respec? I wish I never put my thing into attack. Oh, whatever. Some might say to be pals. Alright, let's do this. This animation is so weird. Oh, okay. Common shield. Cloth outfit. Yeah. Okay. I need to find a place to build. So Let's get some pals, shall we? How do I use the pal sphere too? Do I want a ball of... You know what? Get me some more Loney. How do I... throw... Yeah! Does he count? No, he's actually like dead. Okay. Let's get like one of each type. I don't know what good this guy is, but he's going down. Come here. Nah. That was such a good drop. Can you only carry 3 pals? Looks like maybe... Alright, Chickapee. It does seem like you can only carry 3. Maybe there's more later on. Okay. I leveled up again there. Oh, is that a free ball? You can just get free balls out here? Holy shit. It's amazing. Oh yeah, I think I remember setting up my base like down here originally. Sorry, I'm just helping myself to some free loot. What do you drop? I see you. Wait, is he aggroed as well? No. I'm assuming I need like... What the fuck is going on out here? What have I started? Okay, let's take all the free loot, why not? So, how do I get... Oh, these things expire? Can I just eat this now? Nice. Do I need to make like a fridge? I hate it when games make food that expire. Genuinely an ass mechanic. Oh, okay, hold up. That's gonna need some extra work. Hold on. Let's make a bed. Oh wait, why am I making a bed? No, I need to make a workbench. I'm gonna make a bow and arrow. How do I make the bow? Wood, fiber. What the fuck? Where do I get fiber? Server settings to change variables. It didn't come up with any settings that I could see. But maybe I can, maybe if I looked into it. Oh my god, there's another one? Jesus Christ. But I can have a look. I don't know if I can do anything in here. Like, I think there was... Oh, there was like a regular settings thing, but I didn't really dive into it much. Okay, hang on. Let me make this... I'm gonna make that armor as well in a second. Oh, I need to reset my escape position real quick. There we go. Is he dead? Oh, he's dead. Where are they? Oh, they're literally both over there. Okay. Arrows, probably need a lot of those. It's the same place. It is. But I'm not going to stay here. I am going to move a bit further down. I'm just doing this so that I can make some arrows and fight these guys. I want to capture one of these. I'm sure I can manage, right? It's only level 34. How hard could it be? Yeah. Although this arrow stuff is gonna take a while. Wait, I can get a pal to work on this, can I? If I get you out there... Yeah, can I get you to help? Oh, can I only do one at a time? Okay. There we go. Let's get cloth. They're around, aren't they? Oh yeah, they're over there. Okay. Let's make that armor. Hopefully there's no more upskirts. Hopefully. Oh, it just puts it on immediately? Okay. Back here. Let's get some more arrows, because I don't feel confident about that. Stone and wood. Okay. I reckon I could fight them in the water. I don't know how they path with water, but maybe? Also, how's my technology? Stone spear could be nice. A fire bow? There's no way I'm making that anytime soon. That should be more than enough. You help me make more. Let's get on it. Get to it. Oh, this could take a while. Is there no way I can get more out at the same time? Or is that not how the game works? Wait, do they all get XP at the same time? Oh, they do. Weird. Like I have XP share equipped. Legally distinct XP share. I wonder if I can make that stone spear actually. One sec. I can. Let's do it. How good is this in comparison to the club? Probably better, right? Spear in general just have more range. Oh shit, that was the wrong one. Is that it? It just does like a little poke? Jesus Christ. Okay. Right, this should be enough arrows. Right? Surely it's not going to require that much more from me. I mean, they're only early level monsters, early zone monsters. Okay, how many arrows do I have? 64. It's a magic number. Let's eat one of these. Let's do it. I'm gonna pick a fight with this one. Is that like a crouch? Yeah. Maybe I get sneak damage. I did one. Oh, this is bad. Okay, interesting. Yeah, this was a bad idea. I can't do any damage. Yep. Although, I have an idea. Hold up. Maybe, if I can get his wide range attack to hit the other guy, they'll fight each other, and yeah. Your actions have consequences? Never. Surprise Pikachu face. It's fine. I'm gonna do this. Watch. Watch me. Watch me achieve this. Where is he? There he is. Well, I'm pretty sure a lot of things died around him as well. Come on, pussy. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, what the fuck is that? Okay. That's new. Do your attack. Oh god, there's another one? There's so many! Oh, he's very close. I think that hit though. That definitely hit. I can see a little bit of health missing. Help! Help! Oh no, that's water. Jesus. Help! Attack him! Is that it? Are they aggroed? Is he aggroed each other? Yeah, they've aggroed each other, let's go! Right? That's not coming after me? Let's fucking go! I did it! And now they're fighting down below. There's no way. 0.03%. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's not happening, is it? Wait, is he coming for me? No, no, no. I can't see it. No, he killed him! Ah, that's fine. Well, I can go get the loot, I suppose. Optimistic about the capture rate? Hey, maybe it'll still work, right? 1%? 1%? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, never mind, that was a bad idea. Never mind. Turns out you can't capture them with those spheres. That would have been good to know. Anyways, time to keep running. But I did kill one, and that's all that matters, right? What is going on up there? Is he still chasing me? Oh, Jesus. Hello, Brewery. Let's fuck this guy up. Gimme. Fuck off, man. It's 99%. Just give it to me. There we go. Friendly pal tamer. Wait, what? The hell's that? Is this like the guy from the beginning of Elden Ring? At the bonfire, at the Grace even. Use the respawn option. You'll drop your items, blah blah blah. Oh, hang on, I need to move on RuneScape. Okay. Is that it? Is that all you got? Wait, how do I... He's got a fucking gun! Wait, what the fuck is PIDF infantry? Oh my god, what the fuck? He's level 5, why does he have a fucking assault rifle? How do I lose my wanted? Oh god, they're like fully after me. The SWAT? Why? Why are they here? Oh my lord. How do I lose them? What am I finding here? Scorching egg. You committed a crime. Oh! This is awkward. How do I, like... Oh my god! No! No! No, not like this! Why? How do you, like... Can I... Why'd I have to wait? How do you lose them? Can you lose them, or are they just, like, forever after you? I'm just gonna get my stuff, it's not that far away. Oh, except I'm taking cold damage, so that's great. How do I stop taking cold damage? That's kind of fucked, that you can just respawn in the cold and just die again. Not sure. He's reaching. Oh fucking hell, come on. Where's my stuff? Oh, you can't actually see my health, can you? I just realized. Oh no, there we go, it's not cold anymore. I'll move my head cam in a sec. I guess we'll do that. Can't fucking see anything, but I'm sure it's fine. Let's go. Okay. This is ridiculous. I literally can't see a fucking thing. Okay, there we go. What the hell's happening here? Okay. Open. Do I just collect all? Oh, there we go. I don't want the club. Get that out of there. Apparently all you can do is die or fight. Like, fight until they stop? Because that I can understand, but if it's just like, you just gotta keep going until whenever, that'd be a bit stupid. Oh look, there's another PAL tamer. So I'm just not allowed to kill these guys. That stinks. I'll make things worse, but if you have pals fight for you... Yeah, I suppose there is that. It does look like there'll be a certain point where you can just overpower them. So I guess I just need to work towards that. That's a good place to build, I wonder. fuck is that? Is that a chest that's on the file? Okay. Really do need to play it again. Yeah, I mean, I played this, like, for a bit after the initial release, like, after it first hit early access, but never really came back to it, so this is all, like, very confusing for me. I don't remember this. What's this about? Liftmonk effigy. To improve your capture pals. Improve your ability to capture pals. Okay. Who are you?
Oh.
Okay. I guess I'll just I mean, up there looks like flat area that I could probably build on. Maybe I could go check that out. Or is that another one of those things that help me capture better? So that's how I improve my capture rate. I hope swimming isn't like fucking ass in this game. No, that's fine. I do know the last time I played, I had to fend off raid from high-level enemies from my base. Oh god, they do raids in this? Shit. I'm gonna assume that probably happens after you get certain flags checked, like defeated this gym leader or, you know, boss or whatever. That's why you can't. That's why you can build walls and gates. Right. Just do it. There we go. More weight, please. Technology. I guess berry plantation wouldn't be a bad idea. Parachute would be a good idea. Wrench. Pal gear. Statue of power. That does sound interesting. Okay. Where you have your bases matters. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Is, oh, what the fuck is that? Like, I'm trying to think of a good spot that just is probably out in the open, preferably, so that I can, like, fight clean around my base. But I don't know if there's, like, a lot of aggro. Okay, this looks like a boss fight. And I probably don't want to set up a base here. Yep, that's a boss fight. I remember there being boss fights in this game. So I'm just trying to find... I mean, I could set it up on the cliff edge. That way, if anything raids me, it's either going to have to try and raid me from like a mile down below, or... oh, or I'm cornered against the cliff. But it does mean, like, you can set up traps and stuff, so I could just set up a load of traps on one side. And they're basically fucked. Where's this tree? Fire skill fruit. Earth skill fruit. Acid rain. I'm gonna grab this. Oh. Oh, okay, I thought it was a choice. Cool. I mean, I can look around here to see if there's a place to build, but... I'm thinking either down there, or maybe on top of this, specifically this. But this could be a bit awkward. How far can I jump before it, like... Can I, like, go empty hand to go further? Oh, fuck it. I can make it. I've done worse on peak. Oh, let's go. Oh. Little Zapdos egg. Oh, I don't like this giant rock, though. Is there no just flat area? God damn. I mean, this area here is relatively flat, but I'm basically just back where I fucking started again, and I don't want to be right where I fucking started. Damn it! Look at these guys. Oh, they run away. A penguin? Come here. Oh, that's actually a boss. That is a straight up boss. I remember killing this guy after doing some, like, fucking Elden Ring fight with him. But I think I remember pissing something off to kill him as well. Basically like what I did with the other thing. I need to reset my aggro on escape. I could just set it up. I don't know if I fucking set it up near the way shrine, because you get like your own way shrine, don't you? Many boss pals around the world. Yeah. Oh my god, what the fuck is this? Is this goddamn Renala? Like, Jesus Christ. Alright, maybe I'll see what's on the other side of this place. Because I haven't ventured much further than this, so... Yeah. I just don't think building on these hills is a very good idea. Oh, I'm hungry. Okay. What's this? Journals. Alright, let's pass through here. Oh, I could even jump up there. Actually, yeah, let's jump up there. I can see more. Amazing. There we go. Okay, see, this looks... Oh, that looks like a boss fight area. But this looks like a good spot. Up there as well. A lot of places that look pretty decent here. Let me see about the top of that upper platform. Although I feel like there's probably going to be a boss there. I can see the... What's it called? That's like the first boss you fight, isn't it? The lady with the minigun. Well, I assume she had a minigun. Why am I thinking she had a minigun? One sec. Okay. This is also relatively clear. Oh, and there's a checkpoint right there, though. God damn it! I don't want to place it right next to a checkpoint. What's this cave? Oh, it's a straight up dungeon. Okay. Any better spots before I continue? Okay, there's like a little settlement there. I mean, this area here looks kind of good. Like, across the water. kind of cool. Nice little river there and everything. And then I could even, like, go about building a bridge across. Assuming I can build a bridge. Let's see if I can cross this. I don't know if there's, like, fall damage in the water. Just rather not take any chances. Syndicate Thug. Get no scoped. Motherfucker just hit me? Okay. Where was that river? It's here. Whoa, what the fuck are these things? What the fuck? Oh, is this like... Is that like a mysterious fishing spot or something? Like the fish that haven't really... Because you haven't caught them, you can't really see what they are. Okay. I could even just set up the base on top of this, but I feel like that would be a bit weird. I think that open place over here is actually kind of nice. I think this kind of works. Yeah. Although that iron's going to need to get out of the way, but it's fine. Yeah, this is good. Let's see, workbench. He can't really help me, can he? I need the power box. Can he help me? He should be able to help with stuff. I hope. Repair bench. I'll do what the tasks say for now. So, power box. Put pals to work. Can I put him to work? You get to work. Power box management. Okay, so if I put him in here, okay, yeah, he eventually gets revived. Level sync. Base upgrade. Deploy a power work to the base. Pals at base. Right. You build a wooden chest. Right, okay. What is in my inventory that's weighing me down so much? Is it the eggs? Oh, it's the ore. Right. Yeah, that checks out. Let's see. Powers without beds will get stressed. Oh, right. Straw bed. Just put that there for now. Feed box. Oh, I should probably do something about that, but let's get the chest for now. Can you help me? Yeah. Okay. What now? Doesn't give me any more missions to do. I'm gonna dump all this fucking copper in here. And stone. I can really carry the rest, it's not too bad. For now, though, I want to see if I can get rid of this shit. Oh, power box upgrade available. What the fuck? Oh. Okay. How do I get this guy? Logging assistance, egg layer, ping gullet launcher. Wait, how do I know if they do? Oh, right, there's a little icon that shows what they do. I see. Oh, this guy actually has handiwork, apparently. Let's send it. Cool. So, build a bed. Oh, I need to repair stuff, actually. What have we got? Repair bench. Jesus Christ. Okay. So, does it cost to repair? Yeah, it costs to repair. So, they're transporting wood, which I assume... Ah! Okay, that's kind of nice. So I don't need to go into my chests to actually use anything. That's very convenient. Right, let's see if I can get rid of this fucking thing. This might take a while, won't it? See about popping the... Can I right click? Yeah, okay. Repair the pick. How long is this going to take to remove? I really just don't want this here. Oh, okay. That's actually not that bad. Let's just dump this one on recovering. What is this? Mammarist meat. Okay. So I guess I need like berry plantations and stuff like that so I can automate food as well. Stuff on RuneScape needs resetting. 1 second. Okay. I'll show you what tasks each one. Yeah. I saw the little icons. I just need to hopefully understand what they all mean. Oh, there's an egg over there. Should I go check out that egg? I'm gonna go grab it. Oink. I should probably try capturing one of those. That might not be a bad idea. Can I repair this? Yep. Get rid of this shit. But yeah, none of them do mining, unfortunately. Oh, I just realized you need another bed. I guess it's kind of nice just putting something down and getting them to do all the work. That is kind of convenient. Let's see, dump that. Dump the eggs for now. Yeah, because they weigh a ton. Alright, so... Oh, now I just need a bed of my own, so I guess I need to build an actual house with a roof and stuff. This. Build foundations. I guess I probably want to start with a foundation. Oh, right click. I was trying to cancel. I didn't know right click would. Fuck, okay. Yeah, okay, alright. Wooden foundation. That's the chest stops them from dumping. Yeah, for now it's gonna be anything, but yeah, it's not a bad show. Like, I don't really have a thing set for it right now. I don't have any ideas for like how I want to filter them right this moment. Plus they're mostly just grabbing wood. I might just make another chest. Because like you don't actually, or at least for wooden stuff, you don't actually need to like find out where it is, right? God, they could be a bit quicker though, Jesus Christ. Grab that man. Yeah, you know what, I might build another chest. Where is it? Still insufficient. Oh, there's loads of wood. It seems a visitor is heading towards the base. I've got my spear ready. I'm just gonna gather a bunch of wood for myself. Probably a merchant. Yeah, I figured that was the case, but I don't see them. I don't really know what to make of that. Oh wait, they're on the HUD. I just realized. Okay, so that should hopefully be a good amount to build with. Foundations. Wooden wall. God, that's so awkward. Just nice and quaint for now. Doesn't need to be like big and open or anything. I'm just gonna live in a box. Let's go hobo style activated. There's defenses. Let's got a campfire here, I guess. Like somewhere I'm not gonna run into, preferably. Yeah. They're gonna burn themselves to death, aren't they? Let's put the feed box away from the fire. We also need the berry plantation. Oh right, I forgot to make a bed. Shit, I need wood. Capture 5 lambles? That's my mission? Jesus Christ. Oh, there's the merchant. Let's see what he's got.
Hey.
Oh, wait. I wonder if I can sell him that oil that I got. Hell yeah. And sell him the meat. Yeah. You get a big XP bonus. Don't you have to like sort through that stuff though? Isn't it a bit of a mess? Or is there like no limit to the box? stone. Oh, I put stone in the... oh no, wait, that is... using that stone, yeah. There's some right there. Powerbox upgrade available. Hell yeah. I'm dying to this. Fuck it, we'll leave that for a sec. Is there a way to heal this, I guess? Wait, what did that say? They don't heal when eaten. Oh. Okay. See about building the berry plantation. I'll put it right beside the house for now. Can I get another one? Yep. Can I get them to snap? Doesn't look like it. I'm gonna die. Can I sleep and not die? Does being inside... oh, that's so fit. Am I gonna perish in the bed? No, I'm fine. Okay. So, base upgrade? Okay. I get another person working here. I'll get you in there. Oh, he's a miner as well. Nice. Okay. So they're planting now. That's gonna keep that automated. So I think what I'll do is get more chests real quick. And we'll just start filtering them now. I actually set up a door, I just realized. Who the fuck is this? Oh, it's just another merchant. So... well, that co-mechanic was aggro-based. I mean, yeah, it sort of came as a bit of a surprise. Okay, let me see here. So, what was I doing? Oh, bed. I need another bed going. Infrastructure. Wood. This is awkward. Is there a way I can get them to regrow trees? I'm guessing there's probably some way to get like a wood orchard plantation thing. Can I get here? Logging site, there it is. The stone pit. Algae workbench. Living room furniture. I'll grab the fire armor, fuck it. Let's see about making this logging area. Of course it needs a ridiculous amount of supplies. Let's get this guy. Hang on. Do not kill it. You fucking imbecile. Wait, why is damage happening over there? Who's the evil one? Oh! Oh, it got out! Oh! Damn it, we killed it! Whoops. Alright, well, we can do that again. Also, just remembered I need to make a bed. There's the, strip. Okay, hang on. Do I have to throw it up? Like, okay. I didn't know that. I thought when it targeted like that, that means it was done. Right, you get back in there. Stop killing everything. There we go. 6 being procs instead of just stuck on main tank. M7 just a stack on main tank? Well, no. Well, M7 was also a procs, but yeah. I think, yeah, I see what you mean. But yeah, it was a bit confusing, but it was fine. It was just funny. Procs-based that, yeah. Failing down because of working conditions. Stop whining, bitch. Alright, what can he do? Not much. But this thing can water plants. You're not really any use. Let's put you in there. Yeah. There we go. And then I'll get this guy as my pet, I guess. My fighter. So looks like things are sort of automated. Oh right, yeah, I need to get my what's it called? Stone pit and logging sites up. And that way they can just kinda get everything up and running. Don't know how much stone I need as well, but I'll see. And then I'll just get on with the missions like it says at the top. Alright, let's see here. I think I need one more chest actually now that I think about it, because I need one for food specifically. Let's just pop this one like here. Oh, upgrade. Really? Nice. Okay. Oh, what? No. I didn't know I could sleep in their bed. I was just fucking moving around. That's weird. Okay. Logging site. Pop that here. And stone pit basically requires everything again. I need to get a bed for them as well. Can I mine this? No. Has to be the white stones. Okay, I'll just go back to the other side. Oh, this one. I do want to see about like what comes out of fishing. But let's see. should be plenty of stone, but we'll see. Okay. So hopefully I've got enough of everything. Oh, my tools are like fucked as well. Stone pit. There we go. Why is his sanity so low? What are you complaining about? What is your bad working condition? Open menu. What is his problem? Does he just want entertainment or something? What does he want? No food? Well, oh, there is no food, but they're meant to be. I thought they were planting the stuff, but I guess not. Oh my god, this is gonna take forever. Okay, maybe we need more plantations. Let's get another person working out here. You. Because you'll focus mostly on seeding, right? I believe? Yeah. Let's see if I can help with this. Even they need to relax? Never! They will work 24 hours round the clock because I said so. Okay. So the only person who can water is that one. Doing 15-inch pieces for £10, which is fucking amazing. I would be concerned. But yeah, I mean, go for it. Fuck me, seriously, I can get another pal in here. Let's get you in there. Oh, you're not doing anything, are you? I don't know what that leaf is. Okay, let's get you in there. I guess you could help out a bunch. Yeah. So I need to sort through everything here. So we're gonna do. How do I? Oh, nope, that was not what I wanted to do. Security settings, chest settings. Okay. Okay. Too good to pass up. Yeah. Talk shit about me playing Cyberpunk. Yeah, well, at least this game had a good release. I need to build beds. I need wood. I need lots of wood. Can I just chop this wood? Or is that... Oh, he's working on it. That's gonna take too long. I'm just gonna fucking deal with these. To reset my aggro on RuneScape 1 second. Just trying to get my 60 attack on old school RuneScape on my hardcore Iron Man. Did my axe just break? Right, yeah, it was damaged, wasn't it? Fuck. I see a smoke in the distance. There's two smokes in the distance. Repair that. Repair that. I'm over by a car driving across last night. That's technically the road. So it's working now? You got run over by a car driving over the crosswalk last night. I mean, that doesn't... That sounds like... Did you... Were you supposed to cross? Like, that sounds like it was just on you anyways. Sorry, 1 second. Notification. This is technically... Wait, what is this? Not to self-promote. Oh, you're banned. What is this? It was like it spawned specifically just to run you over. There was like I'm pretty sure there's... I mean, it's weird because like behind it, where it was, there was like one of those road barrier things, like those little fucking... the things that stop you from driving through them. So he must have literally spawned there. Just to fucking run you over. Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's get one more berry plantation. Oh no, I don't have enough seeds. You fucked up the traffic with... Right! It was a gang thing, a bunch of different gangs started shooting. It spawned weird. It literally spawned perfectly just to... It's just so weird. That's such a weird outcome. Like, what the fuck? I'll put one of these down. Close to a special boss or facility. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay. I've never had that happen. I feel like that's just the case with Cyberpunk in general, though, isn't it? Like, you're always gonna have a unique experience because of how fucked the game is. I know they've, like, done a lot of updates in the past. It's not as bad as it was on release, but I know for a fact it's still pretty rough around the edges. It's just, it's at a playable state now. Breakdancing bin, too. It's not fucked, actually. No, like, you can complete the game now. Like, you can actually do pretty much all the issues. Yeah, it's just jank, right? Like, that's all it is. There's no weird stuff happening with the gang stuff spawning. Nothing will kill the game, but there's still a few moments. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's still... It's sort of like what you would expect from an Oblivion game nowadays. Not Oblivion, Elder Scrolls game even. Like a Bethesda game. You know, it's playable, but it has its moments. Alright, let's go find some sheep to capture, to enslave. I need to head back, don't I? Oh, actually, maybe I should have made the parachute. I got a bunch of crafting recipes, didn't I? Can I make the parachute? What do I need for it? Ah, nice. My Genshin travel. Full of jank, just with good characters and stories. Yeah, I'm off to go get them now. I wish they would catch themselves. That'd be another form of automation. Just set up a conveyor belt with a fucking Pokeball on the end of it. They just accidentally step onto the conveyor belt and it dumps them through a dark tunnel where they just get flashed by the fucking Pokeball. Where's my food chest? Are they not reorganizing this? I guess not. I kind of want to get rid of this stuff though, so dump that. Whatever that is. I'll just drop everything, fuck it. They'll sort it out if they need to. What? How can I drop this in? Oh, because it counts as what? It literally stops me from doing it as well? What? Oh, that's rude. Okay. Have you made basic armor gear? I've got the cloth armor, and I've got decent gear, I think. Actually reminds me, I need to repair, I think. A great time in 2077 overall, just the time commitment. Yeah, like I've thought about Cyberpunk for a while, to be fair, like after everything. I collected the no, I haven't collected it, have I? Where's my parachute? Did I actually make it or not? Oh yeah, there it is. Like, I have considered it. Like, it does look like it would be a fun time, not for the actual game itself, but just for the... I mean, for the actual game itself, obviously, but not for, like, the story or anything. More just for the chaos that can be ensued. Right, so I can fast travel. Can I just fast travel from the thing, can't I? I was about to run all the way. That would have been stupid. Oh, it's also getting dark. Can I actually just sleep first? I'm killing that fucking rooster. Where's that motherfucker who decided to wake everyone up? Fast travel. The hell was that noise? Great time expedition overall, just the time commitment. Oh, they still not finished it. Have you still not finished Expedition? What are you doing? Not playing Expedition? How dare you? Potential future Dig V. Barely played it. Get back on it! It's good shit! Still Act 1? Unbelievable. Doesn't really look like you have your gear on. This was all I was able to craft, was the cloth outfit. I haven't checked if I've unlocked anything else, but yeah. I don't know what else there is. I didn't see any options for anything else, but I can have a look later. At the end of Act 1. Oh yeah, I did! That's right! You're right, I actually forgot about that. I thought it looked different. Yeah, I have no idea. I thought, like, I don't know if there's, like, another way to get gear. Probably, like, through buying it or something, but... yeah. Okay. That was so sad. The way he just falls over from being attacked from behind is the saddest fucking way to go. Supposedly I'm down here? Okay. Oh, I have a parachute, don't I? What am I doing? Want something slightly better soon. Yeah, hopefully. I'm not too fussed anyways, it doesn't seem like oh, equip a common shield. What? Did I have that? Do I just already have the recipe and I didn't check? Hang on, let me have a look at the shields. What's the nearest? Oh! Oh, green thing! Oh, I need to reset my aggro on RuneScape. 1 second. Come on, here, I can kill it. There we go. Oh, hang on, I can just go to that one easily. Oh. Sort of easily. These are new, by the way. Like, these jump things were never there before. Man. I'm glad there's no, like... No one from Software is trying to fucking sue these guys just for having a wind-blowing cylinder that sends you up into the sky in a specific direction. Because that'd be crazy if you fucking sued someone over something so specific, right? Okay, equip a common shield. Oh, right, this stuff. Yeah, I remember this now. Man, are you guys doing any work? God damn it. Upset and not willing to do any tasks. What am I meant to do? To fucking... Right, you know what? What do you do? Oh, he fucking does mining. Put these away. What's your fucking problem? You've got enough food. Asshole. Great work, seems to be a good worker. I need to like build something, like some sort of commodity for this fucking asshole. It's this, isn't it? Or maybe not, hang on. Legit second-hand games because they'd been ripped by the previous owner. Yeah. Fucking garbage company. Honestly. Could be because of their trait. I'm thinking the same, but I thought that maybe there'd be some way to get around it. I'll go get another one. Maybe there's another one available, I can just replace them. You are expendable. Bastard. Alright, where's teleport? Back over to here. They've gone way downhill. Yeah. Unfortunately, people still fucking indulge and buy into that shit, which is really sad. But yeah. Why did she have to gasp so loudly? Not gasp, sigh. Oh, there's one. How many arrows do I have? Oh, I got loads. I also need to get some of this as well. Can't get Nintendo games anywhere else. It's the most monopolized fucking company out there. They are literally pure fucking monopoly. I really feel like EU should just step in at this point and be like, no, you can't do this. Then it's like, good luck. Good luck trying to fuck people over. Fuck you, Nintendo, you pieces of shit. I hope that, like, the Stop Killing Games thing opens up even more conversations. We wouldn't make games for other systems just out of spite. And good, we don't need Nintendo. Let them fucking die. Let them lose their IPs. In 10, 20, whatever amount of years it takes, they'll fucking lose the rights because they can't, you know, hold the patents forever. And then everyone else will just get to have fun. Fuck them. They can burn. Don't you understand how much people want the Switch to? Oh yeah, the poor people who are buying into fucking the scam that is the Switch 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Switch 2 is a console. It is better than the first Switch. It also costs probably, you know, 2 months worth of people's fucking rent. Actually, I can't remember how much it costs. There might be Might be less than that, but you're not getting the new Switch. Damn it, too funny. Eat my dust. Yeah, like it just. Oh. It's just such a waste of money. It is straight up a waste of fucking money. You are consigning yourself to a future of Nintendo. The moment you buy a Switch 2, you have given in to the Nintendo promise. If they did anything to wrong you, you can't do anything about it. You know, if you really wanted to, you get yourself a fucking Steam Deck and then you can just buy whatever game you want. You know? Someone someday will figure out how to emulate other games on a fucking Steam Deck as well, and then the Nintendo becomes fucking worthless. Fucking Mario Kart for the Switch 2 when Sonic Racing releases soon to a wider audience. I think Mario Kart's still gonna kill it, to be honest, because it's like a staple name, isn't it? Unfortunately, but £80 for Mario. Yeah, that's a fucking steal for sure. You know, literally an indie dev could put together exactly what they did and produce it for way less. I don't understand where they get off trying to fucking charge £80. It's the cut of Nintendo, I couldn't care less. Basically, yeah. Nightmare Cart is free. I've never heard of that. That was Nightmare Cart. Where am I going? I was looking for a cat. Where did they all go? I swear there was some around here. Keep trying to zoom out. Oh, there's one. But yeah, it's really fucked up. It's fucked up and it's fucking stupid. I hope when the stop killing games thing, like, finally gets in front of the fucking, what's it called, EU Parliament or whatever, EU Commission, more begins to open up. I want Nintendo to be fucking crying with their tail between their legs and begging everyone to fucking buy their consoles before more fucking shit gets, like, you know, hammered down. It's original Bloodborne cat, but for legal reasons got tweaked a bit. Oh, fucking of course it did. Let me guess. Sony coming down being like, no one's allowed to talk about Bloodborne. We're not allowed to make well, we're allowed to make Bloodborne, but no one's allowed to talk about it, therefore no one's going to have Bloodborne. Right, let's try and get another one of these guys. Hey, look, early PS2, huh? That sounds kind of fun. They got the FromSoft exclusive, so the Die Hard Souls fan will be buying in. What a... Like, yeah. That's the biggest shit. Well, the Die Hard Souls fans who have no fucking, like, brain power, yeah. Really losing their lawsuit against Palworld. I don't know if they're... I mean, they're not necessarily losing it. I think if anything, it's going to come to a point where it settles, but... Because Palworld already agreed to make some changes, if I recall correctly. Like, I think they are going to be getting rid of the spheres. I can't remember where I read that. I might need to double check, but... I think there are some changes that are going to be made to the game as a result of the lawsuit. It's unfortunate because, like, I do think Nintendo deserve to fucking lose it. Like, they don't deserve anything, but clearly someone in the fucking Japanese government is taking a dick in the ass by someone in Nintendo. Like, they are fucking deep inside of each other. Because, like, Nintendo just gets away with everything. It's fucking insane. So I feel like they're not storing any of the items they told them to store. I'm really confused. You can't have your power spawn by throwing a sphere anymore? Oh, that's what it was. Okay, okay. What's this thing? Let's have a look. Oh, I think I've seen this come up somewhere before. Oh yeah, it was free. That does look kind of cool. It's got the old PS2 fog and everything as well. I'd say it looks like very late PS1 era, if anything. Which one is this? This is the Oars chest, yeah. This one is foods and stuff. What? So why can't I put these in here? These are food. Oh, ingredients! Well, that could be the problem. Take out ingredients. It's quite different from Western law. It is, but like, I think it goes without saying that like, patent infringement laws aren't particularly like that much different, right? Fun too, interesting vehicles for free, it's worth a go. I'll have to consider it. Skill fruits, right. But like, patent infringement laws are usually... I mean, it's hard to say, because like, they managed to get a patent for something that already existed, that other companies have already been making for the longest time, which was, like, what was it? The ability to switch mounts in a game? Like, that's insane. They should never have been allowed to claim that in the first place. No one should have given them that fucking amount of, like, power, but, like, that's the big issue, is that, like, I feel like Nintendo do have their hands in fucking government pockets, and it wouldn't be a surprise, considering they're one of the biggest money makers in fucking Japan. Catch stuff with balls, mount your monsters. Yeah, the catch stuff with balls, you kind of can give it to them in a way, because it is sort of like the Pokemon's been around for the longest time, but mounting your monsters? Really? Like, what are we talking about here? That's something that's been around since fucking WoW. Like, 20 years ago. Oh, okay. So seeds as well. I can put the seeds in here, fuck it. Like, they shouldn't have been allowed to do that, but they just seem to get away with it, which is real convenient for them. Every single fucking time. Okay, so, let me have a look here. Is he still being useless? In good condition. What? So he's fine now. Well, what the hell? Are there better ones? Coward, shabby, downtrodden. Maybe I replace it for one of just the coward. There we go. That'll work. Pokeballs are based on gacha pods. Whoever has the right to those should sue too. How old are gacha pods? Also, well, gacha pods are kind of like, they release a random thing, right? Whereas this is more capturing. Like I can understand the concept, unless someone else came up with the idea of capturing something in a ball 30 years ago. Like, that I can sort of understand, but like, I feel like to sue over the PAL spheres is a bit unwarranted. Like, I don't think that this is suing worthy. Like, unless it opened up like a fucking Pokeball, I think capturing something inside of a sphere doesn't necessarily imply that it's a Pokeball, right? An item that captures powers when thrown. This is basic model is only effective on low-level powers. Like, it literally is just... You could call it a crystal that's sphere-shaped, that captures things. You can make so many arguments for it, so it's ridiculous. Alright, so they're all doing everything. Equip a common shield, right? I wanted to make the shield, so... Stone... Oh, I just have to hold to work, don't I? Can I... Let's get this guy. No work suitability for the logging? Really? Okay. Either way, moral of the story is Nintendo is a garbage company full of idiots and fucking dickholes. And just there's no reason to support them, even if it's for fucking Mario Kart. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, it's already happened. Like, it's already out. It's already there and it's done. Like, but Jesus fucking Christ. Have some fucking boundaries. That applies to any big corporation. It does. It does. But I feel like we're talking about, like, this is something that is a hobby, right? This is something you can just not do. It's not impossible to just say, alright, maybe I don't want to spend £80 on this game. Like, I've wanted to play Death Stranding. Like, I'm not saying that I'm the same as everyone else, and, like, everyone has to do what I do, but, like, I really wanted to play Death Stranding 2, right? I've been crazy about Death Stranding 2. I've been losing my fucking mind for years waiting for that game. I'm not playing it right now. One, because I don't want to support Sony by putting it on the play. Like, I haven't turned on my PlayStation for like 2 years. This is a PS5. It's been off since I played fucking Final Fantasy 16. And then two, I don't feel comfortable being locked into a price of 60 fucking pounds. Like, we need to stop just allowing games to go up in price. Because there's no reason for them to be going up in price. The market is fucking... what's it called? The market is saturated. That's not... When a market is saturated, you don't go up in price. Like, that's not how it works. You know, they can pretend that the tariffs have affected them, like, with all of them saying, oh, well, you know, the tariffs have affected shipping costs and packaging of the game discs and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, everything is fucking digital. What are you talking about? Like, anyone who uses that kind of shit can eat a fucking bag of dicks. Alright, can I make the shield yet? Yes, I can. So, is that equip? Oh, that's equip. Use a normal parachute. Capture any 30 an additional? Oh, no, it's okay. 13 out of 30. Alright, let's see what we can do. Probably when it's daytime. So, how does the shield work? Is it just a oh, it's just like a force field, I guess. Like, it goes without saying that, like, it's impossible to just always, you know... it's impossible to avoid giving money to the wrong people. You know, I think that's just something we gotta live with, but... Man, like, giving money to Nintendo ain't gonna make things better. It's like giving a dog a pat on the head for doing the exact opposite of what you want it to do. Get rid of this thing, it's so fucking loud, Jesus Christ. Fuck. Nice. Oh, I sure he makes some more spheres. I just realized I was going out to fucking capture things and I don't have enough. It's like, I keep forgetting I've got the parachute. Do I have any blue crystals anywhere though? So much money to Games Workshop and they treat their consumers pretty poorly. Particularly with the cost of everything. And that's like I find that to be problematic personally. The Chaos Dwarves are a thing. Control yourself. Jesus Christ. You're an adult. Learn to have some restraint. Alright, let me see. What am I being held back on stone? But my toys. God damn it. You can do what you want. Consume more. Jesus Christ. Oh fuck. That thing's not aggroed. Wait, this thing has a health pool? Wait, no, I don't think that's affected by anything. I think I remember killing this on my first playthrough though. This thing was... I wonder if I can catch it. Oh, that was a misfire, but okay, I guess we're doing it now. Get him, gang! No, leave him alone! You will not touch my people! Oh my god. I'm just gonna stop it from attacking for a second. Ow. No! They killed it, damn it! I tried. Carrot seeds. Okay. Like a carrot plantation or something? No. Oh, I keep pressing the wrong button. Can I put that in there? No, I have to put it in here. I'll just hold them, fuck it. Right, so I need a lot more Pokeballs now. I need a lot. What's this over here? Okay. That's basically Chaos Doors, but they're a bit worse. Worse than my character? That'd be ridiculous. I mean, there's Chaos Dwarves in RuneScape. I think I know what a Chaos Dwarf is. I'll just gather stuff on the way and then just make it if I need it. Do I need to pick this as well? Oh, that's actually free. Oh, I got a copper key. Nice. All of these. Nope, didn't mean to do that. I was trying to cancel it. No. Never rode a giant bronze bull through multiple realms, destroying everything and anyone. Well, I kind of did. It just wasn't a bull. It was more like a squid. Jesus Christ. What's that bird? What are you? What the? Nightwing. Sounds like a cool fight. Let's do it. Ow. Some DC's gonna say. Well, no, because it's Night N-I-T, right? Oh, Jesus Christ. No! I went to dodge! It's fine, I can go get my stuff. It's not far. It's night. Is it? Wait, is it actually? I always thought it was... Huh? Is there a good fit for the grazing thing you can build? I have no idea what I can build. I'm just kind of winging it at this point. My stuff. I had another guy I could have summoned. Did he despawn? Responding to Embler. Oh, sorry, my bad. Stop putting the fucking club on me. Where'd he go? Where are you at? I can finish him off. Little pussy. He's probably fucked off. How many arrows do I have? Not many. I have to make some more. What's this? Small pal soul? What's this? Definitely fucking Elden Ring now. Jesus Christ. It seems no one speaks to me. It's a fair assumption. I don't think it's particularly unwarranted. Oh, I didn't mean to kill it, but okay. Okay, whatever. I might put out a crafting bench just to quickly, like, build some arrows, build some fucking, what's it called? Arrows and, thing. How do I build again? Crafting bench. Do I want to do that many? Hang on. Time is it as well? I do need to wrap up soon. Got raids later. I could do something else. Could do more attack. Well, that stamina buff is huge. What the fuck? Okay, hell bowls. What's missing now? So, basically wood. Alright. How do I get rid of this? Can I destroy it for... What is Surfing Slam? Just fucking one-shot that thing. Jesus Christ. Okay, cool. So that's what that does. I think I'll see about getting that fox. Wait, what about this guy? An alpaca? Oh no, you ain't going nowhere, buddy. Jesus Christ. No, why do you just snipe them so fast? What the fuck is wrong with you? God damn it! Fuck you, get back in there. Waste of time. Jesus Christ. I'm like, oh, I got enough time to fucking do this. Fucking nope. Jesus Christ. I'm gonna sneak up on them. So I need to eat, I just realized. Oh, you can feed the dead. Recall them if you're gonna get mob solo. Yeah, I just didn't. The way I see it is like, oh, I'm waiting for them to come out so I can just quickly throw another one. But like, motherfucker's just got like aimbot. I suppose he is a bot, but like, just fucking zones in immediately. You get no time to like fucking throw another one. Oh my god, that's so many. What the fuck? Oh my god! Holy shit, what the fuck is happening? Get him. There we go. I need more materials, really. Let's get another duck. The ducks are pretty good. Not duck. Duck, penguin thing, whatever it is. Oh, I wasn't expecting to kill it. Okay. How many bowls do I have? Okay. I think I can probably get some more made in a sec. Oh, let me actually chop down a tree. Someone is fucking messing with my crab spawns over RuneScape and it's bugging me. Wait a second. Sting myself here. Okay. Right, there should be more than enough materials, I think. I got plenty of stone-ish. Plenty-ish, not stone-ish. What's that over there? Leaf monk. Get over here. No. No. Oh, fuck this. I didn't want to use this. Okay. It's not over there. Okay, let me put another bench down. Make a bunch more of these. See if I can make more arrows. Oh, really? Oh, I'm low on stone. Okay. See if we can get a bunch of stone somewhere. I did see some of it. What the fuck? Oh, that's just iron. Let's see some here. Let's grab this. Can't wait to get better tools. This is awful. Stop. What's going on here? Sorry. Alright, this should be a good amount. Like, I'd be surprised if it isn't. Yeah. Make fire arrows, holy shit. Oh yeah. That's a big number of arrows. But this could take a while. God damn it. Where's the nearest teleport? Because it's getting dark. Supposedly one over there. I mean, my home isn't too far, I think. What the fuck is happening with that guy over there? Is he like rolling down the hill dead? I want you. Okay. So I've got a good variety of pals now, which is nice. And hopefully get some more responsibilities going around the base. I mean, I gotta get these arrows done. I'm getting sick of having to fucking recraft them every time. I might try and go for the base up there. Because I think that one is one that I've already been to. Yeah. Yeah, so let's head up here. Oh, there's a big boy here. I think this one's level 1, level 11. Alright, yeah, let's fucking do it. I wonder if it's capturable. It is. Jesus. fucking hell. Hey, there we go. Oh, my armor's damaged. Well, that would explain it. Holy fuck. That did a lot of damage. Can I eat this? Let's eat this. Okay. I caught a boss mob. Hell yeah. Okay, yeah, I definitely need to head back. Let's see if I can get to this one over here without dying. What's this? Just a regular chest. Nice. Even more copper keys. Alright, where is this point? You should be able to see it from here. There it is. Oh, that's not ideal. Okay. I know there's like nighttime creatures as well, but it's kind of annoying having to deal with the cold right now. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but oh, I need cloth. Cloth. You know what, let's just sleep, fuck it. Get them all up in the morning. Okay. This guy not gonna help? Fuck was that noise? Alright, let me see about go ahead and repair real quick. Let me see about I have unused stat points as well. Wait, how much does that give? 100 more health. That's actually kind of nice. Okay. Let's go through all these. I think I might use this as my, wait, what does the little aggro symbol mean? Does that mean he's not going to work with me? Oh no, he's fine. Can be ridden. Changes the player's attack. Wait, what? What do you mean can be ridden? How do I get on? Get back here. Why are you running? How do I ride you? Okay. Well, let's have a look at the responsibilities anyways. You can't really do anything, you're useless. What about these guys? Sort by... whatever, just sort them. That's pretty good. Get another one of these guys here. Yeah, I think that should be alright. Build a PAL gear workbench. Okay, let me... Sure. Alright, let's build a PAL gear workbench. Nope, because I need wood. God damn it. Let's get another PAL out just to do helpful stuff. Like... unfortunately one of these guys. Yeah. Wait, that's the shabby one. Oh yeah, downtrodden is the one I don't want. No work suitability with lumbering. Well, that one shouldn't have any anyways, right? Yeah, so I don't know why it keeps saying that shit. Let's grab some wood. Pal Gear workbench. Let's see. Put this one like here, I guess. Oh yeah. No use but try unlocking recipes from the tech menu. Oh. Small feed, but oh wow, I have a lot of recipes. I've not been keeping up. Mounted torch. Foxspark's harness. Harness for holding Foxspark. Right. Why are these unknown? Unlocked after a certain powers. Oh, I see. Tundra outfit. Useful for surviving in cold climates. I might grab that. 3-shot bow. How many points do I have? I have a lot. Primitive furnace sounds good. Crusher sounds good. What is this? Okay, yeah, egg incubator is good. I need that. Nail? Guess that sounds important. Hot spring? I think I'll get a hot spring. I feel like they need it to be happy, right? A sandbag. Interesting. What else is there? I guess I'll get the Foxspark harness. I feel like it's a bit weird that a baseball bat. Okay, I'll leave it for now. I'll leave the rest of these for now and see what I can build now. So we've got the crusher, we've got... What's in here? The egg incubator. So this I really, really want. I'm going to put that inside, I think. I got a lot of eggs. Alright, so we set my egg again. Set egg. So the large dark egg. Now that sounds like it's going to be fun, right? It also sounds like it could take a while, but let's see. 30 minutes. Alright. What else have we got? Alright, yeah, I wanted one more berry plantation. Just to sort of even it all out. Hot spring requires palladium fragment and pal fluids. Where do you get pal fluids from? Just from killing them? Body fluids taken from a pal. Do I have like a Palpedia? Possible drops, right, okay. The ducks. Oh, water types in general, okay. You know how. Shut up. It ain't that kind of game! What is this? Foxbox harness. Right, okay. Can I, like... It'd be nice if there was a oh, quick stack. Never mind. Okay, it's nice that there is that button. That makes things a lot easier. Awesome. Alright, let's head back out there and get hunting for some more pals. And hopefully kill any water types. And also I need to repair actually before I do any of this. Item management. Repair. Fucking can't. Oh, I hate the lack of materials all around. I think I need to try and like get one that's more dedicated to grabbing wood than anything, like one that's just a woodcutter, but I don't know if I have enough room for that right now. Okay, repair. I shouldn't have done that one. It's fine. How much space do I have? Yeah, I'm good. Alright, let's get a move on. Where's the teleport? Fast travel. I'll go back here. Okay. Should be fun. Get him. God damn! Yeah, I can't do nearly enough damage. Holy shit. Ow. Nice. Oh, is that aggroed? Yep. Fuck up. Hell yeah! Alright, any water types? Yes. Sick 'em. I don't want to waste arrows. That's so mean, but I love it. Oh, the bird's back. I reckon I could take on the bird. Let's do it. Let's see if I can shoot him from here. Oh, let's wait. Oh, there's like barely any drop on that. Holy shit. Nice, that's a good freeze, holy shit. Killing it! God damn! Let's get you back out. What is that? Is that a Pokemon? Palworldmon? I can handle this, I think. Oh my god, what the fuck is this frog? Wait, what? Hey, what the fuck is this guy? Croagiro? Oh, I fucking missed. Yeah. A wizard? He's wearing a gi! Forced to take their own life. Look, he's wearing a fucking gi, look! There's a little belt on him. Oh, but he also has a wizard stick for some reason. What the fuck? Okay. What a strange creature. Culturally distinct. That's what it is, yeah. Nice. Easy power fluids. Nice. There we go. Dude, this fucking... This animal goes so hard. Such a happy looking thing for such a devastating creature. Oh, there's a penguin up there. That'll give me some fluid. How many arrows do I have? Not many. Let's not waste them then. Wish I could... Is there a way to command them to, like, attack? Command pal. Oh, let's just attack aggressively? I don't know. Nope, he got aggroed from like a mile away somehow. Let's do more attack. Ow! Motherfucker. I assume these guys will get fluid as well. Oh yeah, they get more. That's nice. That freeze is not... Actually, you know what? I'm gonna capture him. Never mind, he just fucking evaded that. Prick. I wanna see about getting those, like, weird floating fish. Actually, let me see about getting a kill hit. Where are they? There they are. Let's just grab some of this real quick. No. Oh, I thought... Okay. You little bitch. What an annoying enemy. Holy shit. Oh, I've run out of stamina. That's awkward. Oh. Okay. Just capture it. Okay. Nice. What is that in the water? Oh, it's one of those teapots. What the fuck is this place? It's like a whole base with tanks and everything. Like actual fuel tanks. So, there we go. Right, I need 3 more pals and I'm good. Is there a thing nearby I can teleport with? I think that's the one that's the one I came in on. That's fine. Don't really want to grab another monkey, but fuck it, let's do it. Just need to get something back to base. The mission. notice anything in particular? No. What is that? Is it like a fishing spot? Like a super fishing spot? What the fuck is that? It's gotta be, right? I don't have anything to fish with, unfortunately. Yeah, there's like something rare about these guys. Well, that's cool. Looking forward to that. This game really has gotten a bit, I say a bit, I'll say a bit better because I haven't seen any of the other content, but like since it launched, like I'm genuinely enjoying this. Not that I didn't enjoy it originally, but God, it was just a lot slower. Or it felt a lot slower when I first played. Whereas now I just very easily just kind of go around. There's shit everywhere to do. Well, that kind of was the case before. I don't know. Maybe it's just coming back to it with a bit more knowledge on the gameplay. Makes it a bit easier to enjoy. Don't know if I want those. I want these guys. Maybe I don't know what I want. Fuck. Whatever. Let's just see what I can get. Ooh, sheep. I think I need a bunch of these for the ranch. I haven't actually built that yet. I've been meaning to. What's this? Ooh, and a chest. So what the PAL souls do? I hope they give XP. That would be funny. Legally distinct enemy soul full of currency and or experience. Let's get one of these guys, the little ones. Not before my attack levels on RuneScape though. Hang on, maybe I should fight this thing before it gets away. Oh, it really loves to fucking queue up at the attacks, doesn't it? Also, why does sprinting do like no difference to speed? Fuck this. Fuck you. Make a fox harness. Okay. Alright, let's get out of here. So how is the hungry? Fucking eat then. How do I make this? Flame organs. Oh, I need to kill fire enemies now. What else do I need? Statue of Power. Okay. Oh, didn't need to do that. Let's see what we got here with the new folks. Kinda suck. This guy's pretty decent, I've already got one. This one looks like it does some ingredient stuff. Not too bad. That one's way better with planting. Okay. Doesn't look like there's much different here. I'll leave them as they are. For now. Oh wait, never mind. Power box upgrade. Hell yeah! Alright, which one do I want? Preferably one that also does mining, but the only ones I have are these cunts. Logging as well would be nice, but I think we'll go mining. Shabby. Yeah. Get to it. Need a bed. Go. That's fine. Build a crusher. Wood. Okay, that needs a lot of wood. Let's sleep it off. Does sleeping speed up the incubator? I said what, 17 minutes? It does! Holy shit. It's kinda cool. Oh, now we need more wood. No fucking winning is there. Okay. I need to go find more fire guys, and I think they're nearby. Or, hang on, what is this? Enhance player stats. Capture pa- Oh, you don't just get it. You have to fucking use them. I see. Enhance pals. Right, and then you consume the souls to upgrade your pals. Okay, that's good to know. Do I have to just eat them? How do I consume? Oh, it literally is just, that is the 3 that's in my inventory, I see. Okay. So, how are we doing for wood? Not well. Why is wood burning? Like, why is wood going to... Is it because of kindling and stuff? I wonder if that might be why. Has to be, right? Whatever, I'll go get some wood. I mean, wood's not too bad. Fucking stone is a nightmare. Have I gotten so far? Where did I get a horn? Oh, whatever. Also, probably a slacker. Wait, we have a slacker among us? Clumsy. Get out of here. Let's see, so... Build a crusher. What does a crusher do? Breaking down stone and wood to exchange them for other materials. Requires power with watering trait to spin the water turbine. Okay. You can put that, like... here. Man, there's gonna be a lot of, like, reworking to do here. Eventually. Put it here, actually. This might be a better spot. Well as that, I've still been meaning to build a few other things. God, that noise is awful though, Jesus Christ. So furnace, I don't need just yet. Right, that was it. One of them was the hot spring. Put that over here. Really? Oh, because it's too close to the thing. We'll put the hot spring here, I guess. There we go. And that should hopefully boost morale for them. Hell yeah! Mission complete. Nice. Base upgrade. Bam. Let's get another woodcutter in there. Because clearly that's where we're lacking. I'm not gonna lie, I fucking hate the sound. It is just jarring. Who's good for wood? I guess this guy, insulated body. Okay. Yeah, we'll get this guy. Bed. Nice. Alright, so this is looking good. I'll just sort by that. What else do I want to do? Right, there was one more thing I wanted to make which I don't have materials for now, I think. Where is it? The wrench? I need wood. Yeah. It's always the fucking wood. Although the egg's gonna be done soon, which is nice. I think it's got like maybe, if I had to guess, 8 minutes left. Curious to see what's in the egg. That's alright. Messages. Okay. That looks like a big tree. Does that give more wood? Okay. How much wood do I have? That's more than enough. What is this? Stored genetic data can also be transferred to other worlds. Global power pulse. So this is like a... This lets you store your pals... Oh, there was that weird thing in the menu. Okay, so this lets you store it out of your save. That's interesting. Let's get these fellas here. Required farming. Do I have no farmers? Let's have a look. I don't have any farmers. Okay, maybe I swap something out then. Do need something that waters. Okay, I might swap this out. So you can do farming. You can do farming with a lot of seeding. Also a motivational leader. I have no idea what that means. But that sounds like a really good thing to have in the group. Yeah, I think I'll do this one. Swap him out. Alright, so how does this work? Grazing? I mean, do I have to put something in here? What is the wrench? Farm for raising sheep and fowl like cows. Assign a power with the appropriate partner skill to a farm to produce items. Oh, so it's going to produce items for me. What do you produce? A wise thing, whatever you are. Liftment submachine gun. Excuse me? Cellar raised gloves. High quality workbench, metal pickaxe, metal axe. Increasing its capture power. That I like the sound of. Alright, let's go about getting getting this mission done. So I need a bunch of fire organs. But where were the foxes? I remember them being like in the early zone, I think. Just at the bottom of the cliff. Fast travel. Not there. Not there. Where was the... Oh, this way. So I think they're around here. Oh yeah, and there was this chest that I couldn't open. Old bow schematic. What? How do I... When in inventory, unlocks recipe for old bow. So can I just get rid of it? Like, why does it need to go in my inventory? Very confused. Motherfucker. Oh wait, no, I don't need to capture them, do I? I need to kill them. Fuck, I'm an idiot. Damn it. Okay. I suppose I could loot some stuff around here while I'm here. They definitely like populated this area. Should I try and kill the Mamorest guy? This feels like a bad idea. No, let's leave it, I don't want to waste my time. This guy could be good. Don't aggro. Ow! Can you back off? I don't know if he's like aggroing with me here. There we go. The question is, are there any other foxes? Little flamey boys. Might as well just kill stuff on the way, right? Free materials and stuff. Where the fox is it? There. There's one of them. With penguins as well. But I need to focus this guy more than anything. There we go, there's one. Need 3 more? Assuming I didn't get any... Oh wait, I think you do get them for capturing them. Hold up. Okay, I may have been an idiot. I guess capturing looks like it might have given me 2 instead of just the 1. Maybe I'll try and capture the next one and see what happens. Is that one over there? No, that's a chicken. Wait, does it maybe say? Possible drops. Capture right now. Doesn't say anything. God, why are these so annoying? I guess it could be like any fire type. But I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen any other fire type other than this guy yet. I could be wrong, but... Where are they? I'm not going to be at the beach. Could they be back here? I mean, I doubt it, but... Let me see where else to check right now. I need to reset my aggro again. A second. Okay. No, I'm not seeing any out here. Have I caught you? I haven't caught you. Maybe I have. Caught you now. Oh, there's one. Oh god. Why is this just a gigantic group of aggro fucking... like enemies that aggro you? They're just all level 1. Fucking insane. Right, there was a fox. I saw a fox somewhere and I forgot where it was. I think it was... oh, it's up there. Okay, are we done? Cool. Jesus Christ. I do find it funny how the dead bodies just kind of like stay there for a while. Let's see, so I'm going to try and capture this guy first. Oh, hello. Where's a guard? Ah. Let's see if capturing does give more loot. So I have 4 at the moment. Okay, it did give me 2. Yeah. Okay, so I'm better off just capturing them. I'll capture another one, fuck it. And then I'll head back from here. Stay in. Yeah. Get back in there, motherfucker. Okay, nice. Alright, let's TP back. Where's the nearest teleport? This one? Wait, is my home basically just here? My home is just in that direction. I might as well head towards it, fuck it. Oh, even better. So I know what the Syndicate Tower is. What does that mean until expiration? Should I just go in and do this? I'll just go in and do this. Would you like to enter the dungeon? Yes. Maybe I don't want to miss out, right? This could be... I don't know why a dungeon should expire. It's a little concerning. Unless it's talking about a reset timer? Let's have a look. Okay. What is this? I said level 13, so I should be okay. Although I don't have a lot of arrows left, I probably should have gotten a bit more stocked up. What? Training manual. Thermal undershirt. I'm sorry? It's a training manual. Small amount of XP when read by a pal. Okay. What? Is there meant to be a boss fight here? It said it was level 13. I just walked through the middle and nothing was here. What? What? Sure. Literally just grabbed a bunch of loot and left. What? Oh, there's thugs. Let me just teleport out of here. I'm so confused. I'm genuinely so confused. But okay. Cool. What are you creating? Oh, whatever. Can I see what they're creating in one of these, maybe? Did you kill it not realizing? Does it die outside? I'd never been in there before. That was my first time. What to incubate egg? Tombat. Well, that doesn't sound as scary as I thought it would. Where's the Tombat? Wow, that was kind of basic. Oh, 2 mining is actually kind of nice. You know what? Fuck you. Oh, what is happening down here? Oh, they're all aggroed. I'm just gonna go down and kill these quickly. Is there any more? Doesn't seem like it. Let me go grab that chest. Okay. Awesome. How's the wood supply doing? We've not been gathering any wood. Alright, I'm gonna swap out one of these guys for someone who strictly does wood. Does anybody strictly do logs? No. Never mind. Fuck. Alright, it's whatever. Oh wait, there we go, now someone's grabbing wood. Let's get that. Let's get another egg. Let's get this one. Oh, I can make that harness as well, I just realized. Let's go make the harness. Just get it out of the way. Start. Also do the primitive furnace. Nice. The fuck was that? Oh. I'll put the furnace like here, I guess. Nice, nice. An upgrade is available. Let's do it. Base upgrade. Get another one going. Still need more wood. Just anything that does wood right now, to be honest. Although I think the only thing that can do wood is... Oh, wait, hang on. I got a bunch of new stuff. I got this guy. Fucking just does logs. There we go. Hell yeah. Okay. Look at him go! He's fucking jamming over there. They coming to help me? No? Oh, you, okay. Fire. Gonna get a headache. Oh, he's quick though! Oh, there's two of them, that's why. First boss battle? What do you mean? I've already beaten the boss. Oh, it's skipping through. Craft a small feed bag. Feed bag? Oh, feed box. Ingot, right, yeah. I need to start working on metals and stuff. Oh man, there's a lot I need to do. There's a lot I need to fix. A lot I need to tidy up. God damn. I think I might call it here for tonight though. I might do some work on this tonight. I'm definitely gonna... I'm feeling good about coming back to this tomorrow. I mean, we got raids tomorrow anyways, but... Yeah, feels like it's going alright. I'm definitely gonna have to rebuild the whole place. I hate what I've currently got going on. But at least there's the, at least there's the fact that you can just kind of get them to build everything for you, which is nice. I just need to figure out how I want to place everything. 'Cause there's a lot of things in the game to place. It's really hard to figure out what you want. Yeah. Gonna raid plan for base building. What do you mean raid plan for MAS? I was busy playing Power World. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. Who's streaming at the moment? I don't really want to raid into Final Fantasy. I'm so fucking tired of that game. I mean, I'm gonna be playing it later, but I just... Oh, I'm so tired of it. Anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and end stream for now. But yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow with some more of this. This is kind of fun. But yeah. Goodbye.